Well, I got another flashlight review for you. This is another through night light that I have on loan. This is the TN42, and it is a big boy, the new big boy on the block, and it's huge. There's a massive handle here with the enormously larger head. I don't think I've seen a flashlight head this big with a single LED. Huge, smooth, deep reflector. This reflector, I mean, it comes all the way down here. It's just, everything's huge. It's gonna be huge. And let's see what the magic happens here. Right there. That's it. Doesn't look like much, does it? A little dinky little yellow square. But that's our LED, and it's actually a new LED to me. This is the Cree XHP35HI. Alright, and it gets the job done. Trust me on that. So, this thing is running on a battery pack, alright, on four, count them, 4 18650s. Alright, so there's your battery pack. Now, if you guys don't want to have to deal with buying the cells and taking them out to charge, there is a rechargeable version of this light. In fact, I saw Prepared Mind 101 did a great review on the rechargeable version. It is more expensive, but I'll link you to his video in case that's something you're more interested in. It's a $70 difference. This one is coming in at $200, and the rechargeable version is $270. Now, for some people, it's totally worth it. Just plug it in. It's easier to stay charged all the time. But hey, if you're looking to save some money, this is the cheaper version of the two. But this thing is just, it's an absolute beast. There's our button on the side. Before I actually get into the flashlight, let me show you what it came with. Big old box for a big old light. And of course your paperwork. Which gives you all of your specs. Okay, so you can see a couple different languages here. You can pause in right there. Actually, this is easier, so this way I don't have to remember to tell you all these modes. Pause it right there. There's all your features. That saves about 5 minutes of the video, because there's a lot of information to give when you're talking about all the different modes and runtimes and so forth. Alright, this does come with a large strap, okay, which is actually really nice because some of these larger lights, they are really heavy. This is not something you're throwing in your pocket, okay, so when you're not actually using it, it's nice to have that option. So anyway, in case you didn't want to pause your screen there, wasn't paying attention, the highest output on this light is 2000 lumens. All right, and the whole deal with this one is this is just throw. This thing is all throw, and I'll do a demo, of course. I definitely want to compare this to another, big monster from Through Night. But the beam, the center beam on this light is so ridiculously strong. Even at a little bit of a distance, 20, 30 feet, it's too bright to look at, the center of the beam. I held this across my my living room. I have a living room / dining room area. It's probably like 15 feet or 16 feet. And I had my wife hold her hand up, and from 15 or 16 feet away, it got really hot. Okay, that's how much light is focused to the center here. You can actually feel that heat from 15 feet away. Absolutely amazing. So what I like about this, of course, is the LED built into the button here. So when the battery starts dying, or the battery pack in this case, that will go red, so you know. And just like all the other, all the other through night lights, hold that down. All right, to go through all your modes, double tap to get right to your output. I mean, I feel that heat right there. Okay, that's actually pretty damn hot. And then you can double tap again for strobe. Really, really simple. In the off mode, you hold it down all the way, and that will give you your, moonlight mode, or firefly as they call it. But yeah, I mean, I really like the light. It's just one of those things. It's a novelty. All right. Now with these big lights. Most of the time when you're using a flashlight, you're not using a flashlight for, say, I don't know, more than 4 or 5 minutes at a time. And think about it, when you grab a flashlight, you're using it for a few seconds most of the time. But let's say you have a little project and you're using it for 15, 20 minutes, whatever. That's totally fine. These big monsters, they have such, large battery capacity as well as such high output. The run times aren't nearly the same as just a regular EDC light. So you can't expect this thing to run for hours at a time. Their projected runtime on their turbo mode, again, 2000 lumens is 1.5 hours. In testing this, it goes for about 2000 lumens for about 45 minutes. Okay, it will last an hour and a half, but the light will cut down. A lot of people don't realize that. If I say a flashlight runs 2000 lumens for 1.5 hours, 1 hour, 20 minutes later, you're not getting that 2000 lumens. It does die down as the battery power dies down. Okay, it's something to note. You're going to get on pretty much across the board, any brand, any company, whatever, these flashlights on the highest mode, which is always the most impressive to us, of course, that doesn't last the full, length of runtime. Okay, just something to note, because some people are new to flashlights and don't understand that right away. But I mean, what would you get this for? I mean, if you're a professional, I actually think that the rechargeable version would be really good for a security guard, because if you're a security guard that has a dedicated little station, like let's say you're at a gate, you're a guard at a gate, you have a little hut, house thing, whatever that is, that little structure you're sitting in, doing your guarding. You have electricity there, so you would be able to plug in your rechargeable battery or rechargeable pack, whatever, and have this thing constantly charging. So let's say there's a little bump, you hear something, you need some light, you turn it on. The second you're done with it, even if you use it for 15, 20 minutes, you can plug it right back in and charge it right back up to full. So in a professional type environment, I think the rechargeable one is definitely best. This one obviously is just a little more portable. If you were to buy this and you actually want to throw it in your car or something for emergencies, I highly, highly recommend getting a bunch of 18650s. Knowing that the battery pack holds 4, I would probably have at least 12 extra. I know it might sound extreme, but hey, if this is your choice, you're dedicating this light for a car light or something, the last thing you want to do is not have any battery power left. Okay, so definitely invest in some extra batteries and be prepared. That's the whole point of putting something like this in your car. But this is totally overkill. You don't need this for a car light. Again, this is really suited, a lot of the big monster lights, it's one of two things: novelty / collectability, / to impress your friends and your neighbors, or annoy your neighbors for that matter. I probably annoy my neighbors more than I do impress them. They don't really care how bright my lights are, they just don't want them in their windows. And the second reason would be in a professional environment, i.e. military, police, fire, EMT services, all those professions, emergency services. That's where something like this, it really, really shines. No pun intended there. Because they have all this light that's available to them. Especially, I mean, if you're like specifically a search and rescue team or something like that, this is really your best bet. I mean, it's amazing that you have this little handheld device that just throws so much light in such a concentrated area. It's quite impressive. But for the average person, I mean, most of the people watching this video, they like something like this, but you're not going to invest the money into this light. Like I said, it's for the collectors, the flashaholics, because they're out there. There's thousands of them, guys that just, this is your hobby. This is all you do. You don't really do knives that much or at all. You don't really do guns. Can't have guns in a lot of places. But you're into flashlights. You can have a flashlight anywhere in the world. And so that's their hobby. And when that's your hobby, you want the latest and the greatest and the brightest and the best and the most powerful and yada, yada, yada. So if that's what you want, that's what this offers. But for the average person, it's not an EDC light. It's for most people, you're not going to put it in your car. So, I mean, it has its niche, market, put it that way. But I make these videos because, believe me, a lot of you guys, I shouldn't say a lot, but there is definitely enough of you guys watching that are in that type of niche market that would want something like this. So that's why I still review lights like this as opposed to just, cheaper EDC lights. But yeah, I mean, it's pretty damn impressive. You'd be amazed if you saw it in person. Seeing like a beam shot on camera, it's going to change depending on what kind of camera you have, and it's never going to be as good as in person. But I'm going to attempt to do that anyway for you guys to get an understanding as to how it compares to another big throw monster. So let's do that right now. Go outside and give you guys a good comparison. All right, guys, so this is going to be a quick demo comparing the ThruNite TN40 to the TN42. Now, the TN40 has a whopping 6,800 lumens, but you're going to see how they compare because the TN40 way outthrows this even at 2,000 lumens. So it's pretty interesting. So first off, the TN40, I'm going to do this on their highest mode. So you can see here's in the lawn. And it looks like a fairly focused beam, but hopefully you guys can see that there's spill all across the entire lawn. I can see basically everything here. All right, as I pan up that bush down there, I'm going to zoom in here as well so you can see this better. All right, that's about 50 yards from where I'm standing right now. As I go across the pond, let that focus. That is a little over 100 yards to that duck house. Okay. Again, I'm going to zoom in. I'll go up a little bit. Alright, so keep that in mind. That's 100 yards. As I zoom all the way out, I raise this up into the field. It's way beyond that. And zoom in. Don't know how well it's going to focus, but yeah, you can see that. That field up there, you can barely make out some of those bales of hay. Alright, that's 200 plus yards away. Okay, probably more in the 250 range. Now let's compare that to the TN42. Okay, so this is now the TN42. Let's let the camera focus here for a second. You can see just how concentrated that beam is. Now as I raise this up, you can see the spill. Okay, makes this perfect circle here. Very distinct edge. The center beam, or the hot spot, is very much more intense than on the TN40. Alright, so this is concentrating, even though it's less light, it's really concentrating it to that center beam. Okay, you can even see the, with the beam shot coming down here. It's pretty cool. So there's a lawn. Bring us down to that bush, which, believe it or not, almost gets blown out from here. Alright. And let's go across and over to that duck house. There we go. Get my camera adjusted properly. There we go. So zoom in there. And again, you can see the light difference. Alright, lights it up just like day, which is amazing to me. Let's back it out all the way. Go way up into the hill. Let's focus on, let me find some bales of hay. Zoom all the way in. So you can see, oh, my breath is now getting in the way. But you can see more detail there with those bales of hay. And let me zoom in even more. See if this camera will focus. I'm not sure if it will. Back out a little bit here. There we go, a little bit. Pretty damn cool. Now, right now it's a really misty night, maybe not the best opportunity, but I happen to be here where it's out in the open to show you guys this. But if I zoom out, you guys might be able to see this, but that's again where those bales of hay are on the top of the hill. If I move upwards, I can actually see the top of the treetops, which is another like 80 or 100 yards past where the hill is. And I really don't think my camera is going to be able to focus in this lighting. And it's unfortunate. But zoomed all the way out here again. You just see how tight this is. Now, let me grab the TN40. Alright, put this on high so I can give you a side-by-side. TN40 is on the left. Okay, whereas the 42 is on the right. Put it out in the lawn so you can see this a little better. So side by side they look very similar. I raise this up. Might be able to see the spill. Let's go back to that bush right there. Alright, so TN40, TN42. Again, hotspot just being more intense, a more distinctive spill as well on the lawn. Alright, back to TN40 where the lawn is just way lit up. Let me show you that by bringing the camera down a little bit here. Again, difference between 4 separate reflectors, 4 LEDs. So again, this is the TN40. Start at the bottom, raise up. You can see even the outside of the spill is still more spill. Whereas the TN42, way more concentrated beam, but very distinctive hotspot, having that one giant reflector. So, pretty damn cool. They're both super throwers, but for different purposes. So the TN40, definitely better suited for slightly, this thing still is a throw monster, but maybe better suited for slightly closer situations, whereas the TN42 just reaches out to whatever you want to see. Your eyesight is probably not as good as the flashlight will reach out to. So pretty damn cool. Things are a lot of fun at night, especially out in the open like this. I'll put this up in the sky. You can see this. Both lights, you can have a little Star Wars fight. So there you go. Quick little demo of those both lights. So anyway, hopefully that was a decent representation of what this thing has to offer. Again, the human eye picks up so much more light. It's very different in person, but if you're impressed in a video, you'll be more impressed in person. I do, again, suggest you guys really think about which model would be better, whether it's this one or spending the extra 70 bucks on the rechargeable one, because I do highly, highly recommend that if you got this one to get extra batteries, and the cost, may not be worth it to you. It might just be easier just to get the rechargeable version. But either way, again, check out Repair Mind 101's video. I did a good review on it. I'll put a link in the description box if you're more interested in the rechargeable one. You can find more information out on his video. But anyway, that's it. If you have this light, please post down below what you think of it. And that's all. Hope you guys have an awesome day. Thanks for watching as usual, and I'll see you guys soon. Take care.